Hello there everyone, welcome to Negative Entropy. This will be my first video on a series of common scientific misunderstandings. And today, I'm tackling the OG. It's just a theory. Let's get into it. This is one of the most prevalent arguments, if you can call it that, from people trying to refute or undermine scientific understandings. Primarily creationists denying evolution or flat earth geocentrists who have a problem with our view of the universe. Mainly, we hear some version of the argument, well, if it was really true, it would be a law and not a theory. They like to toss around that idea that a theory is simply a random guess or idea that shouldn't be taken too seriously. And while the common use of the word theory may carry that little weight, the scientific definition has a much deeper meaning. A scientific theory is an explanation of the natural world. It starts with a hypothesis that is then rigorously tested through experimentation, mathematics, observations, and measurements. One of the most important characteristics of a scientific theory is that it is falsifiable. This means that there are a known set of circumstances or results that, if found, would disprove the theory's validity. A scientific law, on the other hand, is simply a statement about a natural phenomenon. It's based on repeated observations and/or experiments. It doesn't say anything about why the phenomena happens, but merely says that if you meet a certain set of parameters, you will always achieve the same result. Examples include the laws of motion, buoyancy, and thermodynamics. Essentially, a law says that if you start with A, you will get result B, whereas a theory says that if you start with A, you will get result B because of C. Let's use gravity as an example. Sir Isaac Newton gave us the laws of universal gravitation, which basically says that mass attracts mass, and that the level of this attraction depends on the mass of the two objects and the distance between their centers. But Newton had no idea why this attraction occurred. And then comes along Albert Einstein and his theory of general relativity. It showed that gravity was caused by the mass of those objects curving the fabric of space-time. So let's bring it back to Newton. The law of universal gravitation says that if you drop an apple, it falls towards the center of the earth. That's it. The theory of general relativity says that when you drop that apple, it falls towards the center of the earth because the mass of the earth has warped the fabric of space-time, creating a three-dimensional well into which that apple will fall. One thing I hear a lot of is that once a theory is really proven, then it becomes a law. That's not at all how it works. Laws and theories are two completely separate scientific constructs, and while a theory can certainly incorporate a law into its description of the natural world, one can never become the other. Now, a lot of people pounce on the notion that scientists will say a theory can never be 100% proven, and they seem to think that 99.999% sure is the same thing as basically a coin toss. Scientists freely admit that our knowledge of the universe is fluid, and as our understanding increases, as we add new knowledge onto what we knew previously, sometimes a theory needs to be refined or adjusted to incorporate that new knowledge. When we say that a theory is accepted as fact, what we mean is that there is such a preponderance of evidence that the possibility of that theory being overturned is practically nil. And as I stated earlier, any true scientific theory is falsifiable. When a scientific theory is published, the rest of the scientific community picks it apart and tries everything they can to prove it wrong. Perhaps the single best quality of science is that it is self-correcting. The most frustrating aspect of this is that science deniers love to pick and choose which scientific theories they have a problem with. They're not out there arguing against atomic theory or germ theory or plate tectonics. Usually they're just denying a scientific theory that disagrees with their religious worldview. And while some may be ignorant of scientific principles, I'm fairly certain there are others out there who are willfully trying to deceive people. And that is something I will not tolerate. Welcome to the end. You made it. I know most of you out there probably found this video pretty basic, covering general scientific knowledge, but I did want to start the foundation off with something like this and then build from here into the more complicated and detailed aspects of scientific misunderstandings. So once again, thank you for watching. This is Negative Entropy. Now, if there's any particular subject you'd like me to cover in a future video, drop it down in the comment section below and I'll see what I can do about it. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, please do remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.